Hey guys, it's Easy once again, and it's a pleasure to be with you guys once again. Welcome to my channel. For those who are going to be watching this video on Substack, welcome. For those who are going to be watching it on YouTube, welcome. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, and if you find such topics interesting, where we talk about the metaphysical, we talk about philosophy, we talk about psychology, we talk about perception and synesthesia per se, feel free and make your way down to the subscriber button and hit the subscribe button to follow on and to follow in. And for those who are old timers who forgot to subscribe, please make sure you make your way down to the subscription button and subscribe as we get to connect more. And I also want to take the opportunity to appreciate each and every one of you for working with me and who has been very kind to restart, to repost, to like and comment and give their ideas and opinions on my previous video. As your kindness is much appreciated by me, and I want to say a big shout out to each and every one of you for working with me on as well. And today we're going to be talking about something new as we touch on the fifth episode of my ongoing series that has been so beautiful, and that as the reception has been so cool, as the reception has been very nice from the community, and once again I appreciate each and every one of you. And today I'm talking about before I could talk about the title or going mainly into what I'm going to have to share today, I always like to start by talking about the concept of God, as I've always done in my previous videos, as the concept of God or the entity called God or the knowledge of God has been something that has been on the lips of humanity for decades, for centuries, and for thousands and thousands of years, where there have been so many debates, even till now, where there have been so many conversations going, as Nietzsche has said, God is dead, but then we got to see that God rose up again, and there's been so many things behind it. But in my own idea, in the concept of God, or when it comes to the connection with the divine, I like to always bring intentionality to that aspect, because as I've learned and as I've grown, as I've said in my previous videos, the basic or the simple things we do as humans, which has become so normal for us, which has become so easy for us, we don't get to appreciate the complexity behind it. And that goes to show in various things, like I talked about, when you want to make your food, you have to prepare your food and then eat. When you want to use the restroom, it's the same way. When you want to go to lie down, it goes there. And then I use something that was basically simple or normal to do, which is to drink water or to lift a cup. You might not see the complexity behind that action, but it is there, like the relaxation and the contraction of your muscles and your tendons. And then it goes to the same thing when you're walking. And same thing when you're sleeping, or it goes to something when you're like just when you're learning or a skill or anything. These complexities are behind the scenes. Like, you get to think sleeping is easy until you have insomnia, and then you get to see it's not as simple as you want. Then you get to understand that if you're taking drugs to be able to have such good sleep, to show that it's simple, because for people who just do it and doze off easily for them. But for those who have seen or suffer from insomnia and get to see what the doctors say about it, how to understand that sleeping is actually as more complex than it seems. And in that is what I always like to touch with, the concept of the divinity, or and what you call the divine, or the divine, because in connecting with the divine, or in connection with the divinity of life, there's an intentionality behind it. And for that, today we are going to be going on the fifth episode of the series, like I say, because in the previous series we were talking about the self, talk about the light, or how the body splits into the soul, body, and spirit. We talk about the self. Then we talked about synesthesia being the idle leak in the prism. And today, the title of this episode in this series today is Quantum Coherence, the secret dance of the eye. And before I go there, I like to give you the core idea behind my video. And the core idea behind my video description: consciousness may not be created by the brain, but orchestrated through quantum coherence, the hidden rhythm that unites thought, time, and infinite I. And like always, and I like to share my thoughts and my ideas and opinions in short poems, prose, or write-up, whichever way you want to call it. And as I read now, I hope you enjoy listening. A beam of light. When white light hits a prism, it scatters. We have red, blue, violet, and gold. each color traveling in its own way. But take away the prism, the color collapses back into one being. That reunion, that silent return to unity, is what physicists call coherence. Maybe consciousness itself is the same thing. White light, remembering it was never divided. And if you listen to my video when I talk about the world being a living matrix, I talk about how there are different vessels. The Bible calls human beings earthen vessels, and they are in these earthen vessels. There are different kind of human beings. Like I talked about the water and then the can. If you don't taste the water in it, you will know that this is the same thing, because on the outer side it looks different. And this comes back to light now when I talk about light splitting, and then you're having various kind of light. You have gold, blue, violet, and the rest of them. But then take away the prism, then you see that everything is just light. That comes to us as human beings too. We have Africans, we have the Caucasians, we have the Asians, and we have different kind of classes of human beings that has been given. But take away the prism, you see we are all just humans. And this also shows, this also reflects on that aspect too. The universe human. Every atom in our body, every atom in your body hums a note, not metaphorically, literally. Everything vibrates. But coherence is when those vibrations align, when the hum stops colliding and begin to sing together. That's what happens in lasers, waves of light moving in perfect rhythm. That's what happens in superconductors, every electron flowing without resistance, as though friction doesn't exist. And that perhaps is what happens in consciousness when thought, emotion, and awareness vibrate together. You don't just exist then, you resonate. And what is resonation? Resonation means you echo. You get to echo what consciousness is. Like I said, consciousness is just trying to show itself in various forms, in various kinds, in various styles, in various nature. And we as humans are privileged enough to be able to witness this story, to try to make sense of it. And I believe in understanding that we get to appreciate life more, and we get to understand how beautiful life is. And when you say everything vibrates, like when you look at, they said the universe is always in motion, and motion needs vibration, and vibration needs oscillation, meaning everything is vibrating on the quantum scale, in the quantum scale of things. The quantum brain. Deep inside your neurons lie structures called microtubules, tiny lattices, so small they flirt with quantum behavior. Two scientists, Roger Penrose and Stuart Hemmer, proposed that within these microtubules, consciousness flickers in and out of quantum coherence, as though your awareness is a rhythm too subtle for the senses. Two scientists, Roger Penrose and Stuart Hemers, proposed that within these tiny microtubules, consciousness flickers in and out of quantum coherence, as though your awareness is a rhythm too subtle for the senses, a pause between quantum and the classical. When coherence forms, you feel present. When it breaks, you fall into the noise of thought. Maybe this is why meditation feels like silence, not because the brain stops working, but because it starts working together. In meditation, or when you say in this, I could just explain this as saying when you're observing yourself and you're thinking, so come into alignment, meaning your thoughts are not running, and then you're able to observe your natural state in at one, being present, meaning you are breathing, you're feeling your chest, you're feeling your ribcage opening, that is dilating and constricting, and then you're feeling yourself, your thinking self is also in one. So they are not separate, but they are together. The stillness beneath motion. In every orchestra, there's one thing more important than the instruments, the timing. When timing synchronizes, sound becomes music. When it drifts, it becomes echo. Now imagine your body, a symphony of cells, electron, fields, every breath, heartbeat, and brainwave waiting for coherence. What if consciousness is not an instrument at all, but the timing, the hidden pulse that keeps everything in tune? In that sense, consciousness is not in the brain. It is in the harmony between things. Echoes of the mystics. The mystics have always spoken this way, not in equations but in poetry. Lao Tzu said, the Tao that can be named is not the true Tao, because the rhythm beneath the words cannot be spoken, only felt. Rumi wrote, we are the flute, our music is in all things. He was talking coherence, the merging of player and played. Even Jesus Christ said, the Father and I are one, not two beings, one vibration, different tongues, same truth. Coherence is the moment when the universe remembers its own voice. Coherence in nature. Look at a flock of birds turning in perfect formation, a school of fish weaving like silk beneath the waves. No one commands them. They move as one mind, one rhythm, one pulse. That's coherence in the world, and maybe human consciousness is the same, a coordinated flight of countless neurons and energies moving together, guided by something deeper than will, a shared frequency of being. The timeless eye. When you watch a sunset or hold someone you love and forget the world, for that moment time disappears. That's coherence. The self dissolves, yet awareness remains. No past, no future, only now. Physicists call this superposition, the quantum state before choice, before collapse. Before you, the true I, live always in that timeless coherence and that moment you call life, and simply the waves that ripple from it. The Bible says something that when you give your life to Christ, then your spirit, you start working out your salvation, so that because your spirit goes and bees with Jesus Christ, and then your soul reaches the middle ground of where the spirit and the body gets to have a balance, so that your soul, that is, you can call it the observance of the thing itself, the soul and the body, aligning to become one, so that they can match up with the spirit that is seated with the Father. So perhaps the question isn't how does the brain make consciousness, but rather how does consciousness hold the brain together? Because coherence, the secret dance of the eye, might be the reason anything exists at all. Everything vibrates, but only coherence sings. And that is the end of my little write-up, of my little poem or prose, whatever way you want to call it. And I hope you enjoyed listening to it. And also feel free to share your ideas and your thoughts and your opinions with me, where we grow as a community and where we get to grow as a people and also grow as a race, and where we get to grow as a race. I'm not talking about the race in general, of the split or the division, but I'm talking about the human race in general. And that will be all for now. Until next time, bye for now.